was a hard-fought divisional win yesterday for the green and gold. The bullpen game worked as the relievers delivered a solid performance and salvaged the final game of the series versus Seattle. Tonight, the Athletics are back to their rotation and will send Sean Manaea, their ace, to the hill. Manaea will look to get back on track after a couple of bumpy starts, but the friendly confines of the Coliseum should help give the big lefty an extra boost. It's an interleague matchup. A's and Diamondbacks, Game 1, next. Well, Friday Night Baseball from the Coliseum. Fireworks after the game with a Star Wars theme. So we should have a fun night at the ballpark. The pitching matchup, Patrick Corbin and Sean Manaea. A couple of pretty good young left-handers. It is interleague baseball from the Coliseum. The A's and the Diamondbacks coming up at NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. I'm Glenn Kuiper. What a strange year it has been for the Arizona Diamondbacks. The month of March and the month of April, they could do no wrong. Then May hit, and they can't do anything right. Look at the numbers from the month of May for Arizona. 5-16 record. They're not hitting at all. They're without one of their best players, A.J. Pollock. And the only thing that's really holding them together at this point is their pitching, which has been pretty good. But they have lost 7 in a row, and they have lost 13 out of their last 14. Now, they will send a pretty good left-hander to the mound tonight, Patrick Corbin. To talk more about him, here is Dallas Braden. Dallas, pretty good slider on this guy, huh?
Pretty good slider, very good slider on this guy. Let me tell you, this guy got off to a tremendous start, none hotter than Patrick Corbin. He was absolutely dominant coming out of the gate early. First 6 starts of the season, 40 innings, 55 punch-outs, only 7 walks. Hitters hitting under 200 against him, so he continues to evolve. You mentioned that slider. He throws it a couple different ways. He can take speed off of it. He can accelerate with fastball, change eye levels. We're going to have a good battle against 2 southpaws tonight here at the Coliseum.
All right, Dallas, thank you very much. Now we bring in my broadcast partner, Ray Fossey, who's going to talk about Sean Manaea. And Sean, still very good numbers, but he has struggled a little bit in his last 4 starts, right?
You know, the main thing, Kevin, is the fact that he pitched a no-hitter against one of the best teams in all of baseball, the Boston Red Sox. What he does not need to do tonight is think that the Diamondbacks are not playing very well, which they're not, but he has to continue to pitch his game. He has Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate. You look at his numbers, he's got that great green uniform on, but I think for him tonight to pitch his normal game, if he does that, he's got a chance to win the ball.
All right, has a chance to be a pretty good pitching duel, the lefties, Corbin and Manaea. And as we said, Star Wars night, Ray Fossey's going to tell us who his favorite Star Wars character is. They may come up to the booth to visit. Lineups at first pitch right after this.
California is brought to you by Toyota, designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. By Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new Cholula Buttery Jack, part of the Buttery Jack family. Only at Jack in the Box.
Welcome back to the Coliseum as this game got started a little bit earlier than normal. And not just because of the start time, as it was scheduled to start at 6:35. But we got an out already as David Peralta bounced out to Marcus Semien. So one away here in the top of the first inning.
Well, it's like 6:37, but they did jump the gun a little bit. Maybe it's the umpire who was behind Dallas Braden's perfect game. This home. Is that right?
That is. That's Jim Wolf. He's a quick worker.
I guess so, to the point he wants to start early.
So one away here in the first inning.
Yeah, I tell you, for the folks at home, you guys should get used to this. I can get on board with the ball game starting with one out if I'm at home.
Well, that's true. That's true. It's better than starting with a base hit.
Or home run. Catch him crossing home plate.
So the A's and the Diamondbacks opening up this 3-game weekend series on a cool night. Fireworks after the game, so nice crowd gathering and just still filing in.
You know, one thing about the Diamondbacks, it's over 100 in Phoenix, and granted they have a roof where they play, but still the outdoor conditions, they love this weather. This is great for them because it's a cooling effect, just like anybody from the humidity in the central or the east that come out west to the Coliseum, they get reinvigorated. It's perfect.
3-0 pitch to Nick Ahmed. The shortstop is in for a strike. So Peralta was the first hitter and he bounced out to short. This is Nick Ahmed, the shortstop. Three and one as Sean Manaea, the big lefty, kicks and deals, and that one's hit high, left center, and pretty deep. Pinder's looking up, and that one is gone. Solo home run by Nick Ahmed, his 7th of the year, to give the Diamondbacks an early 1-0 lead.
The big thing with Manaea recently has just been location. The hitters have taken advantage of mistakes in the zone, and this here is nothing different. This is a mistake fastball, outer third. They're able to extend, and this is really going to be what Sean needs to avoid is the mistakes in the zone, allowing these guys able to get the barrel to the ball.
Here's John Ryan Murphy, who is the designated hitter.
I think he also has to get the count in his favor. That was 3-1. It was 3-0 fastball and then another fastball. So essentially Ahmed got a chance to see 5 fastballs from Sean Manaea. Never hit the target until he got too much to the plate on the 3-1.
So 2-0 to John Ryan Murphy, who is a catcher by trade and DHing tonight with Goldschmidt waiting in the on-deck circle. That one in for a strike. 2-1 the count. Sean Manaea looking for his 6th win of the year.
Well, proof once again, as we talked yesterday, about the number of runs scored in the first inning. And here tonight, the A's behind already 1-0.
So 2-2 the count to John Ryan Murphy. Straightaway defense for Murphy. Rolls that one foul. There's the game time weather for tonight, presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. Beanies are out, 59 degrees. So we know it when it's in the 50s. It's chilly here at the ballpark. Game is starting a half hour earlier. Inside corner, strike 3 call. So that's out number 2. Let's take a look at the D-backs lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. We've seen Peralta, we've seen Ahmed, we've seen Murphy. Now it's Goldschmidt, followed by Owings, Lamb, Marte, Dyson, and Mathis. That's the Arizona Diamondbacks starting lineup.
Well, for Sean Manaea, as Kite mentioned earlier, been struggling a little bit coming off a start in which he gave up 4 runs to the Blue Jays, picked up a no decision as he makes his 11th start of this season.
First pitch to Goldschmidt is in for a strike. Paul Goldschmidt. Hard to realize, or hard to believe, that Paul Goldschmidt's hitting 200. And it's getting toward the end of May.
Well, guys, there's been a lot of conversation about Paul Goldschmidt and his inability right now to hit high velocity fastballs. I believe he's faced somewhere in the neighborhood of 77 to 80 fastballs of the 96+ mile-an-hour variety, not one hit.
Well, that's not surprising, to be honest, with a power hitter, because good fastballs up in the zone are usually ones that are thrown by or swing and misses. But I tell you, make a mistake with something off speed in the zone, they're going to crush it because they're so strong.
And he hits this one high in the air to left. Pinder turns around, waits, and he's got it. So a run for the Diamondbacks on Nick Ahmed's solo home run. Bottom of the first coming up. 1-0 Arizona. Nothing lead, bottom of the first. Starting lineup for the A's is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Here it is: Simeon, Pinder, Lowry, Chapman, Piscotty, Olson, Lucroy, Canna, and Franklin Barreto is the designated hitter.
And Patrick Corbin, who's sitting on a pretty good paycheck if he continues to pitch well. 4-1 on the season with his 11th start tonight. As the boys were talking about, a good slider. He's got a nice mixture of pitches, not really overpowering with his fastball, but typical lefty. If he has movement going away from the right-handers, facing a lot of those tonight, should be good for him, especially if the ball moves the way it's supposed to.
First pitch to Marcus Simeon. A little bit low. Simeon, Pinder, and Lowry here in the first inning. The A's wearing the Kelly green jerseys tonight.
One thing you can tell from Patrick Corbin already with the first two fastballs he's thrown is he does a good job of working downhill, creating angle from the left side, downhill angle, and that's where he likes to throw that slider off of.
Inside corner strike. Got a good look at Torey Lovullo, the manager of the Diamondbacks.
Last we saw him with the Boston Red Sox.
Left field as Peralta backs up a little bit. And Peralta has it. Here's the rest of the Diamondbacks defense. You see Peralta in left. Gerard Dyson is in center. He was signed as a free agent in the offseason. Owings is in right. Lamb, Ahmed, Marte, and Goldschmidt on the infield. Jeff Mathis is the catcher. So here's Chad Pinder. The A's come in 26-24. They're 6.5 games out in the AL West, facing the Astros, Mariners, and the Angels. These are 12-11 at home. Continuing a long homestand. Mariners were here. Now the Diamondbacks and the Rays will be here next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Jake Lamb ranging far to his left, and he makes a nice play to throw out. Pinder 2 outs. Well, tonight, any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go.
Lowry.
So 2 outs. Here's Lowry. It's a good look at Patrick Corbin. Corbin is 28 years old, and as Ray said, he may have a big payday coming up because he is a free agent after this season.
It's amazing how when you're a pitcher or any player, immediately when that happens, they start thinking New York Yankees. But
he's from there, so that, I guess, is one of the reasons why it's just a rumor. But Corbin has the 8th best ERA in the American League. He is 2nd in the league in strikeouts and 2nd in the league in opponents' batting average against, which is 177. So when on, he's tough.
Well, we've seen an uptick in those strikeouts with the newfound ability to change speeds with that slider that you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Kai. If he doesn't necessarily sprinkle a changeup quite often, he uses that breaking ball as more of a reduction of speed.
Jeff Mathis, the catcher, you saw him a lot with the Angels. He's catching well. Alex Avila, one of the other catchers. They're actually carrying 3, which is unusual, but that is the case for the Diamondbacks.
Two pitch, and there's that slider that Corbin gets a lot of his strikeouts with.
When we talked about the game plan and how you can see the downward angle for Patrick Corbin on the fastball, and you see the idea is to tunnel that slider towards the back foot against the righties, down and away against the lefties off of that fastball angle.
3-2 pitch is hit foul right side.
Well, he does have a mixture of all 4 pitches, including a 2 and 4 seam fastball, but primarily with the 2 and 4 seam fastball, they go 50+%. The slider, so those 2 pitches are the main pitches, and especially against righties, as Dallas talked about, the old slider to the back foot. Velocity-wise, it's not as great as we've seen with some guys throwing the slider, which guy who's in the Hall of Fame with the Diamondbacks, remember Randy Johnson had a great one.
So fastball, strike 3 called, and Corbin has a 3-up, 3-down, bottom of the 1st inning. One nothing Diamondbacks, top of the 2nd inning. Well, it is Star Wars night with the fireworks coming up, so we have
our bodyguards.
Yeah,
got our bodyguards. Thank you. My favorite right there, Cap. You ask
what's his name?
I don't know, but he's.
Did you hear that? He said you're his favorite, but he doesn't even know your name.
No, you just asked me what.
That's Darth Vader. Stormtroopers protect Darth Vader.
Well, see, I'd have to ask Matthew and Joseph, our grandsons. They know all about you guys. I'm sorry. You're breathing heavily there, young man.
Always protected by
Yeah.
the Stormtroopers.
You hear him breathing?
I know.
Scares me.
It's freaking me out. You up to no good tonight? That's what I thought. Owings hits a pop-up to right field.
Always.
So the Star Wars theme tonight for the fireworks, so that should be a lot of fun. Where are you guys going to watch the fireworks?
Batting in the sixth position.
All right, nice talking to you guys.
Number 22, Jake Lamb.
Hey, Kite, tell the one in black I loved him in Spaceballs.
Yeah, you were good in Spaceballs. Yeah, nice talking to you again. He's blowing us off.
Hey, Dallas, the guy that you like is really, he's breathing heavily. You know, it's kind of scary, you know.
He might be asthmatic, Foss. I'd stay away.
I think there's more to it than that. You guys like baseball? I assume you're guys. Right? Yeah, okay.
We've said asthmatic and Spaceballs in the same inning.
Yeah, and the guy dressed in the black, he's got a hot bat. Sometimes they call it a saber, Foss. Is
that it?
He can roll with it. Yeah, he can roll the saber.
Right there.
Well, we're not supposed to touch anything. You know, we're just supposed to look at it.
No, don't mess with these guys.
Yeah, we had heavy instructions. Are those guns loaded? Oh, yeah. They're loaded, Dallas.
Hit the deck.
They're protectors.
It's like I was playing in Valencia, Venezuela. It was kind of the same way.
Yeah,
you know?
you were like Darth Vader, and you had the Stormtroopers protecting.
I wish. I needed them. Well, I know our grandsons are really looking forward to hearing all about you guys. You know, so I'm going to have to give them a call and find out all about you. I have no clue, but, you know, you sound great.
All right.
Should I have done my research on that?
Well, it is Star Wars. It's probably one of the top 4 or 5 most popular movies in the history of movie making, right?
Close.
I mean, probably top 3. Thank you.
You guys are doing great. Don't feel bad. I once got to interview Mr. Met in the.
How'd that go?
Yeah, just about how this is going, boys.
And you know, but really, the heavy breathing, it's scary. It really is.
And that one is hooked into the right field corner by Jake Lamb.
Nice going.
Be a long run for Piscotty. Lamb is going to hit the bag at second, and he's going to stay there. See you guys later. It's good talking to you. So the Stormtroopers and Darth Vader have hit the road.
Yeah, they have. And Jake Lamb hits this hanging slider here, just backed up a little bit. Was out front, but he kept the hands back, was able to hook it, as you said, Kite, down the right field line, and the D-backs are in business with Jake Lamb standing at second. 1 out, runners in scoring position.
Well, the problem for Sean Manaea, and again, going back to last year, Joey Gallo hit a similar pitch about 9 miles down in Arlington, Texas, but the slider from him to the lefties really has to be thrown hard, because anytime it's left the inner half of the plate, Dallas, you know, lefty on lefty, they're going to be bailing anyway.
Yep.
And as a result, that pitch is right down the middle to them.
Exmo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort.
You get more swing and misses when they react on a pitch that's thrown harder, especially a breaking ball lefty on lefty, and a lot of it because they don't face a lot of left-handed pitchers. This young guy, see him again, is Mariners. Marte, all he did was hurt the A's.
That's right.
Whew, man, it seemed like he first came up, he was hitting everything everywhere.
Ketel Marte, part of the Gene Segura trade.
Yep. Playing shortstop for the Mariners.
He's playing second base.
Yep.
Most of the time, I believe, for the Diamondbacks. But Diamondbacks like him enough where they gave him a 5-year contract right at the end of spring training. So congratulations to Marte. He got a nice deal.
Go buy a home in PV country, Paradise Valley in the west side of Phoenix.
2-1 now to Marte.
Maybe go by Randy Johnson's house. It was up for sale for a while. I don't know. Maybe it's sold.
Well, it was Segura and Haniger for Marte and Taijuan Walker. Problem for the Diamondbacks is Walker just had Tommy John surgery, so he's out all year. Segura is a very, very good hitter, and I think the Diamondbacks obviously knew that. Haniger's turned out to be an excellent player.
Yeah, that's probably a surprise, but he has done a great job. Ace will see a lot of Segura and Haniger. Probably happy they don't see as much of Marte as they did before.
That one hit on the ground right to Lowry. Lowry throws to first. Marte is out. So Lamb to third with 2 outs. Time now for our look ahead, brought to you by Wells Fargo. It's a little pitching comparison and what the A's do at home and what the Diamondbacks do on the road. Diamondbacks with a 3.70 ERA on the road. The A's with a 3.55 ERA at home. Diamondbacks, lots of strikeouts. Overall, the A's have the 6th best ERA in the American League, 4.11. The Diamondbacks, 4th best ERA in the National League. Their team ERA is 3.40. So pitching is just kind of trying to hold it together for Arizona.
Well, again, they got off to a ridiculously hot start. Again, Patrick Corbin, probably the best start out of that entire pitching staff. And again, Zach Greinke just starting to right his ship.
1-1 to Gerard Dyson. And he bunts it. Bunts it with 2 outs. Chapman's throw, and they got him. What a play by Matt Chapman.
Unbelievable. That's the greatest bunt you're going to see, but an even better play defensively.
So Dyson tried a little sneak attack, and Chapman, with a sensational play, saved a run.
Batting in the 4th position, third baseman, number 26, Matt Chapman.
Xfinity X1 customers say, show me the Oakland A's into your X1 voice remote and get live stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Nick Stopper's going as Yoda tonight.
Thanks, Guy.
Not much. Yoda. Smart one. First pitch to Matt Chapman is downstairs. Chapman, Piscotty, and Olson for the A's here in the bottom of the 2nd. Corbin had a 3-up, 3-down first.
Take the play that Matt Chapman with Dyson running. I mean, that's a great bunt, stayed fair. But the play on the other end by Matt Olson, I mean,
yeah, that was something.
I mean,
the ball disappeared for a little bit.
It did. And, you know, you had to be thinking, man, with Gerard Dyson running down the line very fast, and the throw, same time he pulled out the ball in his glove about the same time Dyson arrived at the bag.
Shallow right center. And that's Owings who grabs it. And with us tonight again is Cara Savoy, and she is standing by downstairs. Cara, how are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. As you may know, tomorrow we are celebrating all things swingin' A's, and fans gonna take home a little piece of the history with this Harvey the Rabbit backpack. Check that guy out. First 15,000 fans can get their hands on this backpack, courtesy of Ross Dress for Less. Nice little backpack. It celebrates one of the relics from the Charlie Finley days. As you all may remember, the Rabbit would pop up from behind home plate, deliver extra balls to the umpires. We have a 2.0 version now, the mechanized version. But I kind of like this little throwback guy on the backpack. Great for school kids, save it until the next school year. So again, fans, come on out. 15,000 will get their hands on this beautiful backpack. But we'll also be honoring some of the guys from the Swingin' A's. Ray, those are some of your buddies, right?
Of course they are. Good guys.
That's right.
Absolutely.
We'll have fun talking to. We always have fun talking to some of the guys. And the word on the street, and we hope this happens, is that Herb Washington's coming up to the booth. And that is because I don't know that we've interviewed Herb Washington.
Have not. He does not come to a lot of the functions. Captain Sal's going to come, be up here along with Herb Washington.
And we always look forward to talking to all the guys. But if we have somebody that we haven't talked to, and Herb Washington, it's such, I mean, that is as unique of a baseball story as there ever was, really, if you think about it. And you saw it firsthand. And so I'm looking forward to talking to Herb Washington.
I saw it so much firsthand, he would shake my hand as I went back to the dugout when he pinch ran for me if I got on base.
Yeah, I didn't mean it that way, but I guess he probably did pinch run for you a few times.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, Gene Tennis started at first. I caught. If either one of us got on base, safe from the 6th inning on, here comes Herbie.
2-1 the count to Matt Olson. And you had told me that Herb Washington had turned himself into a very successful businessman.
Yeah, if you like Big Macs, he's got them.
Yep.
Maybe he'll bring some. Yeah, Herb's a good man.
Well, I mean, if you think about what he did, that's not easy to come into a clubhouse. And it wasn't his fault, right? It was Charlie's idea.
That's right. And he handled it well, which I'm sure we'll get into the discussion tomorrow about the way he handled it.
So here's this Matt Chapman play that we were talking about, and it's definitely worth another look.
Well, this ball's not rolling foul. Of course, Dyson with tremendous speed coming down the line, and then over the top throw, and somehow Matt Olson able to make the play himself. But see, almost able to tag the runner going down the line. It was not a squeeze. It was a push button by Gerard Dyson, and for Matt Chapman just peel off hit of the dugout after a tremendous play. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people around baseball have already given that young man the American League Gold Glove. I mean, plays like that you just don't find. That's usually a run. And if they talk about runs saved, well, he's just saved a run by that play. And we've seen Piscotty make a couple of plays in the outfield, but at third base, we've not seen many better than Matt Chapman. And Dyson, we've seen him so often with Kansas City. Tremendous speed, playing center field for Lovolo. But that was as good a bunt that he'll probably lay down ever.
1-0 the count to Luke Croy.
Cap, you can't make that play unless you have a strong arm, because it's such a short right over the top, back of the right ear, just like a catcher, Jonathan Lucroy would throw.
Missed again. 2-0. Luke Croy at 267 with 11 RBIs, hitting in the 7th spot. Canada follow if Luke Croy can get aboard. Outfield defense is straight away. Marte playing up the middle. That one is hit off the end of the bat, foul down the right field line. The Diamondbacks, their road uniforms, they have multiple
snow
uniforms, but it's a very interesting color. I'm not sure exactly. It's a, I guess it may be a very dark gray, but it's a color that you just don't see on any other uniform.
Exactly right.
Pitch is hit high and foul again down the right field line. Race is on for that one, although it's not really a race. That gentleman was in a good spot. How about that? .395 batting average on inside pitches. The major league average is .231.
Because most guys get jammed on inside pitches. This is outside.
Again, hit down the right field line and foul. Busy night on the Coliseum complex. There's a concert next door. The great Paul Simon doing his thing, and a little bit later on tonight. That one drilled to left field. Peralta goes back, and Peralta has it. And that'll do it for the A's. They get a walk, nothing else, and we're on to the third. 1-0 Arizona. As it'll be Mathis leading it off, and let's go down to Dallas Braden, who's standing by with the manager.
All right, guys, I'm with the skipper here, Bob Melvin. Now, Skip, Sean Manaea, not the same Sean Manaea we saw earlier in the year. What are you looking for out of him trying to right his ship?
Well, get back. You know, regardless, he's pitching in deep in games for us. You know, he had a pretty good April. It's tough to follow that up, but he's trying to pitch deep in games. He's trying to keep his pitch counts down. Just left one pitch out over the plate that Ahmed got to.
Yeah, Corbin comes in tonight with 11.9 Ks per nine, highest of his career. A lot of swing and miss. What's the approach against a guy like that versus a contact guy?
Got to stay off the slider down and in. A lot of times it's chase. So once he gets ahead, he's either going to go back foot to the righties or he's going to go away to the lefties. Most times it's a ball, so we have to lay off that pitch.
Skip, thanks for the time. Appreciate you. Thanks, guys.
Well, that interview presented by Xfinity, and we always appreciate the manager stopping by. Talk to him quickly. And the count 1-2 to Jeff Mathis, the catcher for the Diamondbacks. He's their 9th place hitter. A little bit high. Mathis thought about chasing it. Pitch number 40 coming up by Sean Manaea.
Mathis has always been a very good defensive catcher. Handles the pitching staff well, calls a good game. Saw him a lot in the American League with the Angels. It's kind of the old school. Doesn't have to hit a lot if he does a good job catching, but now every position, an offensive position.
Mathis with a couple of RBIs. Playing in his 20th game. And pitches way inside, and that's a leadoff walk. First walk by Manaya. He's allowed a couple of hits, and of course the home run by Ahmed in the very first inning.
David Peralta.
And here's the top of the order, David Peralta. Diamondbacks come into the game at 25-24, so just one game over 500, and certainly know about their struggles recently. They have lost 7 in a row and 13 out of 14. That's one of those stretches where you just don't know if you're ever going to win another game.
Yeah.
I mean, that is tough. And this is a team that's got very talented players. They, in March and April, they were, talk of baseball for the good, they were 20-8. In May, they're the talk of baseball for the bad. They're 5-16 in May. That one is grounded up the middle, and it's into center field. Mathis is going to try for third. Canna's throw is offline, and Mathis puts runners at first and third with nobody out for Arizona.
Location's what we talked about with Sean. You see here the fastball, middle, center cut for the lefty. Peralta does a good job of hitting it where it's pitched, taking it right back up through the box. You see the great effort there from Mathis going first to third. Talk about Mathis being an old school Anaheim Angel from the school of Scioscia. They stress the first to third here. Great base running by the Diamondbacks.
Kind of hesitated around the bag, almost as if he was not going to go. A little surprising that he was not running full speed all the way, but there's a situation where Manaya just threw a great slider first pitch to Peralta. Had him swing and a miss way out in front, came back with a fastball. Bad location, base hit up the middle. Gets a ground ball, but not at an infielder to get a double play.
And here's Nick Ahmed, who hit the home run in the first inning. Mathis at third, Peralta at first. And that breaking ball stays up and away.
Well, as the Skip said, he had bad location, left a pitch up to this batter, second batter, and I mean that was a pitch that he should have done exactly what he did. The State Farm sign. That was a 3-1 count. Once again, falling behind him now, 2-0.
On deck is John Ryan Murphy. So runners at the corners.
Early ball game, defense back, looking for a 2-ball. They'll concede the run.
That one tapped to Chapman. He's got it right near the bag. He's going to throw to first, and they get the out there. Nice play by Matt Chapman. He fielded it right next to Jeff Mathis, and Mathis had to stay at third.
And he only had one place to go with this baseball, Kipe, and it was on over to first. He had no shot at the runner at second, so what's he do? He gathers himself, makes a strong throw on the run, and we are becoming spoiled and just accustomed to seeing this type of play, this type of arm from Matt Chapman over at the hot corner.
Well, the thing I like about this is the fact that Mathis really is a good job base running, because typically in a slow hit ground ball where a double play cannot be turned, you don't want to run into an out. And Chapman made a great play because the only play was to first base, but you know.
And that one's hit high and deep to left field. That's going to be trouble, and it is off the base of the wall. One run scores. Peralta digging around, and the throw to the plate, and he is safe. So John Ryan Murphy with a 2-run double to give the Diamondbacks a 3-0 lead.
Well, it's unfortunate because Sean Manaya just did not his best tonight, and against a team that has been struggling. But with these kind of pitches, and especially up in the zone as that one was again, lucky the ball did not get out. It almost did off the wall. Guys played it well, but it's one of those with the runner getting to second base on the slow hit ground ball. Ends up with a couple of runners in scoring position. Not necessary to tag, but that's what you do. Mathis did it. Right behind him was Peralta. That is really a big blow by Murphy.
Pitchcast brought to you by SoFi, a modern finance company.
Number 44.
So
Paul Goldschmidt.
Still only one out with Murphy at second base for Goldschmidt.
Goldschmidt hits that ball. It's a 3-run home run. Murphy maybe not as much power as Goldschmidt. He almost got one in the first inning. Got under it just a little bit. Got that Buster Posey set up with a bat kind of pointing straight down behind him, but gets in a good position to hit.
Chapman scoops it up, drops it, and decides to hold on to it, and that's going to be an error on Matt Chapman.
That amazing. He makes two spectacular plays and one that just stayed down a little bit too much.
And this is what happened. This is what will happen over the course of a young star's career, as Matt Chapman is quickly becoming, is you'll make those outstanding plays, those exceptional plays, and sometimes those easy ones, those routine ones, are the ones that you sort of struggle with at times. And again, this is just an aberration of who Matt Chapman is over at third base.
You just want to set up a double play for Owens. That's all, probably.
Chris Owens hit a fly ball to right field in the second inning. And that one is a strike on the outside corner. So it all started with that Mathis walk.
To your point, as always, you let the bottom part of the batting order get on, it's not good for you.
In the air to right center. Piscotty says, I got it, and he does. Murphy will tag. He'll go second to third. But now 2 outs. And the hitter will be Jake Lamb.
Now, Sean Manaea just needs to try to keep this game close. His offense, although probably not where they'd like to see it. He was down 4-0 in Toronto. Thanks to Chad Pinder, they won the game 5-4. No decision for Sean Manaea. But you cannot afford to let a club score a lot of runs.
And we've talked about the Diamondbacks and their struggles offensively, and that's the reality of it. But their pitching staff's pretty good, and their bullpen's pretty good.
Absolutely.
So you can't let this deficit get any larger. Lamb doubled his first at bat, and he takes a pitch down and away. Lamb been on the disabled list this year. But he is back healthy, but he's playing in just his 10th game, and this is a very important guy for Arizona to get back in their lineup. He was an all-star last year. He hit 30 home runs and knocked in 105 runs.
And that right there is why he's so important. You talk about a power threat from the left side, especially with a Paul Goldschmidt struggling in the lineup. You're going to look for Sock from somewhere.
2 years ago, 29 home runs, 91 RBIs. So he is back healthy and could be a boost for Arizona. Of course, the Diamondbacks playing without A.J. Pollock, fractured his thumb. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. That happened on the 15th of May. Pollock is a very, very good player.
No A.J. Pollock, no Steven Souza, who's back on the DL with that aggravated pectoral strain.
Well, that's the thing when you start throwing the names out there, and if everybody were healthy, you'd see where it's a pretty good lineup, but they're just not scoring runs. This is the injury to A.J. Pollock, and man, this one hurts.
Right there, watch his left hand. Dallas pointed out with Mark Canha making the play the other day how he turned to avoid that type of injury.
Yep. And look, it's tough. Your athleticism takes over. You want to make a play. Things happen very, very quickly out there. So to no fault of A.J. Pollock trying to let the athleticism take over, but sometimes stuff happens.
0-1 the count to Marte. So this is a big at bat. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Sean Manaea wobbling a little bit.
Jonathan Lucroy asking Joe Morph, can I go out to buy some time? Will you help me out? Because he just got crushed.
Yeah, give him some time.
Yeah. Never enough protection there. Jeff Collins, the assistant trainer, along with the skipper, and the skipper knows exactly what Luke is feeling. Been there, done that.
Yeah, he's singing alto. We're waiting for the soprano to come in.
Yeah.
There's your runners, Murphy, Goldschmidt, and Lamb.
Marte, after 4-pitch walk to Lamb, first pitch to Marte, he was not waiting around. He said he's going to groove a fastball, bases loaded, and he swung as hard as he could, just happened to foul tip it in the wrong area.
Bounced foul, and now the count is 0-2. Third base coach is Tony Perez-Chica.
Yep.
Dave McKay is at first. We know Dave McKay. There's Tony Perez-Chica.
Still familiar number 39 for Dave McKay. Cody, his son, was a catcher.
Hit hard right to Simeon, who will flip to Lowry. Side retired. So a couple of runs for the Diamondbacks, and they leave the bases loaded. 3-0 Arizona. A young stormtrooper getting a little nourishment. That was my favorite, Chewbacca. Thank you. Special relationship with Han Solo and Chewbacca. They were tight, right, Dallas?
They were boys.
Tight.
Yeah. It's his road dog.
Ray shaking his head up here. Yep. Couldn't agree with you guys more. C3PO or R2D2?
Yeah, I know those guys.
Yeah. 1-1 to Canna. 1-2 to Canna. Barreto to follow, and then Simeon here in the bottom of the third. It's Patrick Corbin.
You know, when the A's were in Arizona playing the Diamondbacks, they had Star Wars fireworks there.
They did. Canada left. Peralta near the wall, and that baby's gone. The A's are on the board. Solo home run from Arcana.
About an off-speed pitch, a little shocking. But Mark Canna stays back, and this pitch, there's your tumbling slider that did not do exactly what Corbin had wanted. Talk about the back foot, especially with a couple of strikes. Never got a chance to get to his catcher Mathis because out in front with a great swing was Mark Canna, and no doubter. What do they call that, cement mixer?
That's it.
That's not what you want to throw. Especially with a couple of strikes, you want to bury it, and he did not bury it.
Here's Barreto, who's the DH tonight. Quick 0-2 to Franklin Barreto.
Well, you can see the spin of this ball coming in and the location right in the middle of the plate. Mathis wanted it down and in at 81. And that's just a slider off speed. Really, if you're going with 2 strikes on a hitter, you want to throw it hard, which he just did with Loretto.
Well, you're right. That's a good call. That's the difference in the 2 sliders. The one thrown a little bit harder, he gets a strikeout. The one for Canna, it just didn't have that real sharp break. And Corbin, it usually is a pretty sharp break.
Cap, you tell me that home runs aren't hit off mistakes.
Yeah.
And there's a perfect example.
Absolutely.
We heard Bo Mel talk about it. You got to see that slider up, let it go. If it's down, it starts down. You know it's going to be in the dirt.
There it is. I say Jim Wolf made that call, and that again, Jimmy, I'm sorry, you're a good umpire, but that's not right. Should never ever, because you cannot see the bat. You can't see you see the body move, but you don't see the bat. He may have swung, but Simeon does a good job of a lot of times he'll swing, but he has an angle of the bat back towards the umpire. That's why it's hard for the home plate umpire to see.
2-0. Actually 1-1, excuse me.
Yeah, because didn't he call it? He called it a strike.
He called it a strike, yeah.
Yeah, he's making everybody aware right now that it's 2-1.
Yeah, because he kind of lifted up his hand and pointed a little bit like it was a strike.
Yeah, and he pointed his left, and
now it's 2-2. Simeon hit fly ball to left field in the first. Marcus was 3 for 13 in that series against the Mariners.
There was some loud noise off the bat of Mark. The Candyman Canna exit velo 100 plus, launch angle 25 degrees, 376 feet away from home plate. A lot of loud noise off the barrel of Mark Canna.
Nasty pitch there, and that is strikeout number 3.
Now, fans, join the A's for the first of 5 community sandlot style plastic bat and ball games starting June the 3rd from 9 to 11 a.m. at Brookdale Park in Oakland. Kids, adults, and families can play a pickup style baseball game alongside the A's street team with A's goodies. A's Play Ball, presented by Sutter Health, encourages the community to come together to celebrate and enjoy the game of baseball. Learn more at athletics.com/community.
Right center. Hit pretty well. Dyson near the wall. He leaps up against the wall and he caught it. So Dyson with a nice play up against the wall in right center field for the 3rd out. But the A's do get on the board thanks to that man, Mark Canna. Home run number 7. 3-1 after 3. On Arizona, let's check in with Kara, who's with a VIP. Kara.
That's right, Glenn. I'm here with Chief Operating Officer for the Oakland A's, Chris Giles, and we're hanging out in the treehouse, the ever-popular treehouse. It is hopping tonight, Chris, but come out here Monday through Thursday, and you've got even more reason to celebrate new drink specials. Tell us about those, starting with Monday.
So Monday, we have this promotion we're calling Mustache Monday. We're going to provide a bunch of free mustaches, some you hold up, some you stick on. If you want to wear your own, great. All the drinks for anyone wearing a mustache, real or fake, half off on Mondays.
The whole game.
The whole game.
That's incredible. Okay, moving on to Tuesday, what you got?
So Taco Tuesdays, we're going to have a taco truck up here, half off Don Julio margaritas.
Awesome. And Wednesday, sometimes a day game. What's the Wednesday special?
Whiskey Wednesdays. We're going to do bullet bourbon cocktails, half off.
Wow, half off drinks. And what about Thursday? Bring it home with something good.
Oh, Thursdays are my favorite. So we're doing Thirsty Thursdays. If the A's are winning, half off every cocktail.
If the A's are winning, half off cocktail. And these specials are only good for the treehouse. So the beer might be more expensive down the way. So you got to make it here to the treehouse, right?
That's absolutely right.
You know, one thing I'm noticing, Chris, is that the treehouse is packed with college kids, especially like on Friday nights, Saturday nights. And this summer, college kids can get in for even less money. Am I right? Tell us about the new special.
Yeah, anyone coming home from the summer, we're doing June, July, and August, $10 student tickets.
That's incredible. Just show your ID beforehand online and you can get that great deal. What about for families who want to come out this summer?
We're doing free kid tickets. Every child 12 and under who comes with a parent on a 2-to-1 ratio, so every parent can bring 2 kids. Free tickets Monday through Thursday.
That's amazing. Well, for all of these ticket specials, athletics.com/family, right?
That's correct.
All right. Thank you so much. Chris Giles, Chief Operating Officer of the A's. Glenn, back up to you.
All right, thanks, Kara. So just good ideas. Get some people to come out to the ballpark and enjoy themselves. I like it.
Yeah, that's a can't miss. Wine and dine. You can't. You had me at Taco Tuesday.
Oh, I like the idea of if the A's are winning, half off the cocktails, because then you got a double reason to cheer, right?
That's right.
So look, they're having a good time. The treehouse is terrific.
They think they care about the game?
Nope. They're just hanging and they're having fun, laughing.
What's the score? I don't know. Just having a fun time.
0-2 the count to Jeff Mathis. Diamondbacks have Manaea back in the stretch after the Dyson single, and of course he's a major base stealing threat. Dyson not running, and the pitch is just a touch outside. Dyson 8 for 10 in steals.
Sean Manaea, the lefty, looking right at him, so if he takes off on first move, at least he can do that.
Dyson was a free agent, waited quite a while, and then he got a 2-year deal with the Diamondbacks. Not running, and the pitch is outside again. 2-2 the count.
Never been lost for speed. Of course,
Nope.
The A's will always remember him in 2014, and is with the Royals, and that's when it kind of started. When Dyson got on first, and basically anybody got on first, just ran.
When you take a look at the way Gerard Dyson gets his lead, he just comfortably walks out standing upright, not in a very athletic position. Here he might be setting him up the way he's just standing still.
And Mathis lines one to left field. On the dive, knocked down by Pinder. So Pinder tried to make the catch, but the good news was that even though he didn't make the catch, he was able to keep it in front of him, because if it doesn't, then there's big trouble.
Well, this is always a tough play for an infielder. You're caught in between. Do you want to sell out? You know you got to knock it down. So really, it's a good job by Pinder to body up, keep it in front of him. He knows he's got to drop to his knees, create a big backstop of sorts. He doesn't want this thing to shoot right through the 5-hole. If that's the case, Sean Manaea is backing up bases, and he's on a long road out to the left field wall.
So 2 on, nobody out, and here's Peralta, who has grounded out, and then he singled and scored in the 3rd. And that one is driven down the right field line, but foul.
Just a loud strike.
Manaea, 2 walks and 1 strikeout. On deck is Ahmed, a right-handed hitter. Manaea ahead in the count 0-2.
This is a big at bat for Sean Manaea right here. You've got to get the lefty out. You've got the top of the lineup behind him, starting with Peralta obviously here in this at bat, but you've got boppers coming behind, men in scoring position. This right here is the inning for Sean Manaea.
Well, remember the last at bat, he threw him a hard slider for first strike and got the fastball for the base hit. And he can do it again. Because when Sean Manaea throws his slider and he throws it hard, there's not much a left-handed hitter can do.
Dyson and Mathis are your runners. And there is the slider, and Peralta chased it.
But it's such a great pitch, and it's almost like if you think about what he did the previous at bat, start him with the slider, finish him with the slider this time, and Jonathan Luke did a good job of blocking, but he threw it hard. He threw it to the outside part of the plate, did not give a lefty a chance to make the adjustment on the pitch in the inner half of the plate. Throw it away, you get that kind of a swing, and it is a big out.
So here's Nick Ahmed, homer and a ground out. Nothing easy for Sean Manaea tonight. He's trying to work his way out of the jam here in the 4th inning. He faced 8 batters in the 3rd.
You know, that's a great point. I was going to ask our colleague downstairs, because Dallas Braden, you're a pitcher. Why is it? It's always surprises me. A guy pitches a no-hitter against the best team in baseball, the American League, Boston, and he goes to Houston, pitches well. All of a sudden, he falls apart. What is the difference from start to start, Dallas?
It could be a couple things. It could be a mindset thing where you think you have to be as fine as you were on your day of record, and you feel like, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do what I want to do if I can't duplicate that sort of outing. So I think more than anything, it's a mentality. Yeah. It's not anything physical. He's able to go out and repeat. Sometimes the mistakes you make, they get magnified, they're taken advantage of, and where other outings, that might not necessarily be the case.
But I'm always surprised how a pitcher can be off the charts, and the next time he's like totally different. I mean, it's it is surprising.
And that one's hit high and foul down the right field line. And the numbers, I mean, they back up what we're saying. In his first 6 starts, Sean Manaea was 4-2 with a 1.03 ERA. In his last 6, he's 1-2 with a 5.96 ERA. So he just hasn't been the same guy. Yeah. He hasn't been pitching terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't been getting just completely knocked around, but more games like tonight where a lot of base runners, right, and he's just kind of fighting it a little bit.
And look at his pitch count, 74 already. We're in the 4th inning with 1 out.
And there's a line drive to left field and a base hit. Dyson racing around third. Pinder's throw to the plate, not in time. Dyson scores, and it's 4-1 Arizona.
Have a baby all the way down.
And if you're a hitter with Dyson on base, you have to love it, because you put the ball in play, you hit a base hit. Then that's the good news, because no hesitation, first and second, off-speed pitch. And just not the kind of location he had hoped. Pinder kept the ball down, so their other runners could not advance, but really no chance to throw out Dyson.
Yeah, and what makes it so hard to explain, beginning of the year, you know what? That's a ground ball to short, right, and it's a double play. I mean, it's just the way baseball works. I mean, that's a pretty good job of hitting by Ahmed. He went down and got it was a decent pitch from Manaea.
Well, that's kind of what we're talking about, is Sean Manaea typically is not exposed in that manner.
Murphy hits one very high to center field and very deep. Canna has just enough room, and Canna hauls it in. So Mathis hustles over to third. Ahmed stays at first. That's Emilio Pagan throwing. He just got started.
Well, Bob Melvin would love to have Sean Manaea finish on a positive note, and that positive note might be next inning. He'd like to see him go at least 5. Remember yesterday, and there's some concern today because of 5 relievers used yesterday in a bullpen game started by Josh Lucas. The bullpen did a great job, especially since the A's offense did nothing after the first inning when they scored 4.
Well, here's Goldschmidt. A fly ball to left, and then he reached on an air. First pitch is a strike right on the outside corner. Listen to these numbers last year for Goldschmidt. Right?
Boy, yeah.
36 home runs, 120 RBIs, 34 doubles, a 297 batting average, and he finished third in the MVP voting. And that's not that far off of a normal year for him.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
this year, look at what he's batting. I don't care how great you are or how confident you are. Goldschmidt has to be saying, what the heck is going on?
Exactly. You know, there was a shot, the camera guys had a shot of Goldschmidt in the outfield as he was getting loose. And to me, when a hitter starts working on a swing without a bat, something's wrong. I mean,
they're not doing that if they're going good.
Exactly, because everything is just not thinking about it. But all of a sudden, you see him out there, and he's done this and that, you know, different things with his hands and pulling them in different. And no, you don't see that.
Now, you watch Goldschmidt in years past, and we don't play the Diamondbacks very often, but if you're watching a game on TV, you really think he's going to. He may hit a home run every time. He's just awesome, but just a head scratcher for the Diamondbacks. All-time leaders. He's chasing down the home run leader, which is Luis Gonzalez.
Might be the greatest trade in the history of baseball from the Tigers. Gonzo going to the Diamondbacks. World Series hero, which, by the way, you're seeing the 20-year patch on the right shoulder of the Diamondbacks. He is, of course, in the 50th anniversary. There's number 20, Tommy, and 98. They won the World Series in 2001. Bob Brenly's the booth's couple over was the manager of that team. Came out of the broadcast booth to go down and manage.
And then went back to the broadcast booth.
Back to the broadcast booth, and TV analyst for it, and he did manage the Diamondbacks. He's a catcher, you know.
Yeah.
That played third base also. What do you make? How many errors in one game? 4. Yeah, he's out of position now.
The runner takes off on a pitch that was in the dirt, so Ahmed is going to get to second base.
Nonetheless, a heck of a job by Lucroy to keep that in front. You got the run over here at third. It's an outstanding job.
Yeah, and all the more reason, if you're at first base on this play, you go because the catcher is concentrating on the runner at third. And you see Lucroy look down to second base, no chance, but a tremendous block because what the runner going to second was secondary immaterial because the main runner's at third to keep him from scoring.
Goldschmidt, left field, Pinder coming in, Pinder dives, can't get it, rolls past him, and it's going to go all the way to the wall. Goldschmidt is fast for a big guy. A's are going to have to hustle, and they're going to hold him at third as 2 runs come in to score, and now it's 6-1. So a 2-run triple for Paul Goldschmidt.
A good effort by Chad Pinder, and you have to wonder, I mean, a tremendous effort to go after the ball and then banged hard, spun around to go after the ball knowing it was past him and no chance to get his body in front of it.
So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
Coming in to pitch for the Athletics, number 15, Emilio.
California is brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
So the Diamondbacks leading it 6-1. They've knocked Sean Manaea out of the game. 3 2/3 innings for Manaea. Gave up 8 hits. So Emilio Pagan comes in, try to settle things down here a little bit with Chris Owings, the hitter. Pagan's last outing was on Saturday in Toronto. That's that crazy game the A's came back and won, and his 2 innings out of the bullpen turned out to be huge in that game, and he got the win.
He and Lucas coming in for Nashville. The team was playing, both of them very responsible for the success.
Chapman has it, hard hit ball across the diamond, and that will do it. But 3 more runs for the Diamondbacks, 2 of them coming on the triple by Goldschmidt. 6-1 Arizona. Program recognizing teachers that make a difference. Visit NBCSportsCalifornia.com and vote. The winner receives $20,000 for his or her school. Little ball game going on. Not down on the field, up there. Stu's watching over him, though. See. First pitch grounded right to Ahmed, the shortstop, who flips it across. Lowry's out. So 1 out, and those are the numbers for Sean Manaea. 8 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and he finished with 83 pitches. So tough outing for Manaea.
I'd venture to say, Kai, but the clubhouse is not smiling as he is in this picture right now, or now on the bench, still trying to figure out what happened.
And you got to wait 5 days. Dallas.
Yep.
We always say that. I don't know anything about it. Ray wasn't a pitcher. Is that just the longest 5 days of your life?
It is an eternity, because that taste in your mouth right now does not go away. It gets more bitter and more bitter with every pitch thrown that you don't have an impact on, that you aren't involved in. And so you spend these next 4 days at the drawing board figuring out where it went wrong, how you can right the ship, and how you can never, ever, ever get back to that place again.
Yeah, but I mean, can you overdo that as well? I mean, just overthink it a little bit, where, as opposed to saying, hey, 1 outing, I'm struggling a little bit, but my stuff is good.
There are times when that is the case, but when you think about the collective body of work,
Ahmed has that one.
MLB at Bat is your #1 Oakland Athletics app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get A's home screen icons and features such as the MLB TV Game of the day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bats today.
Finish up your thought, Dallas.
But guys, to the body of work for Sean, probably the last 4 ball games out hasn't been something that he's too excited about. So it's not like he's just had one bad outing. There's probably a couple things he could go back and look at and find room to improve on. But when you do go out there and you kind of get worked over really good that one time, it's kind of like getting blown out. You know, you give up 10, 13 as a team.
Yeah.
You can kind of say, you know what, we're just going to put that one to the side and we'll attack tomorrow.
Yeah, but you're saying he's had a string now of outings where, I mean, today was not very good, but they haven't been up to par, maybe.
Right, he hasn't been reflective of the Sean Manaea that we saw very early on. And sure, that is tough to replicate, as Bob Melvin said, tough to duplicate, even over the course of 2 or 3 outings, let alone an entire month. So when you see struggles that he's experiencing now, it gets magnified because they have sort of been in a row. But this is nothing that Sean Manaea and Scott Emerson can't figure out.
Sean Manaea coming into tonight, a 2.71 ERA. His ERA now sitting at 3.34 after the outing.
First 6 starts, he went 5 innings against the Dodgers in Los Angeles. Came out because the game was played in National League Park. 7 2/3, 8 for 5 in Los Angeles, 7, 9, the no-hitter, 7. And since then, 6, 5 2/3, 6 plus, 5, 3 2/3 tonight. So there's the last 5.
Yeah. Marte has it. Corbin has a 3-up, 3-down inning. He's retired 6 in a row. 6-1 Diamondbacks as we head to the 5th. Look at that little Ewok. She did a good job. A little help from Princess Leia. Throwing out the first pitch. Awesome. Dallas, your daughter will be that age before you know it.
Oh, it is flying.
Sometimes. Sometimes goggles are good. Sometimes the old helmet. When you're thirsty, a little bit of a hindrance.
Straw would help.
He's got to figure it out. Jake Lamb leading it off. Pagan back out there. Lamb, Marte, and Dyson here in the top of the 5th. 6-1. Diamondbacks lead. First place Astros just finished up a win in Cleveland, 11-2. We're not surprised when the Astros win anymore. They're now 34-18, and they've won 5 in a row.
Talk about a force.
2 of the losses came from the Diamondbacks when they were hot.
That's right. That's right.
The Diamondbacks won 2 out of 3 against them.
Mariners are underway. Seattle with a 1-0 lead over the Twins in the 3rd inning up in Seattle. That's Romero for the Twins and Paxton for the Mariners. James Paxton with a 3-1 record. So we'll keep an eye on that one. 1-0 Seattle.
The Big Maple.
The Big Maple.
James Paxton.
Well, Big Maple and the Mariners got some help today. This was a very interesting trade. Ray, I want to get your thoughts on this. Alex Colomé, pretty good closer from the Rays, and Denard Span go to the Seattle Mariners this afternoon. And the Mariners sent a couple of young right-handed pitchers to Tampa Bay.
Who are those guys?
So Alex Colomé, who got off to a little bit of a slow start this year, but pitching better as of late, is certainly going to help the Mariners bullpen.
Wow.
Colomé had 47 saves last year for the Rays.
And he's not going to close in Seattle.
He is not going to close in Seattle.
Edwin Diaz is going to continue to do that.
Well, looks, I think what they have sought is a 7th inning man, and apparently they have identified and found one. 7, 8, 9. And again, guys, we talk about the way baseball is going and the way it's trending. If you can get 5, even 6 out of your starter these days and turn it over to that 3-headed monster, you're in a pretty good spot.
Well, even the old quality start of 6 and 3, which is not that great for a starter, but if you can give up only 3 and 6 and turn it over, in this case to Colomé, Nicasio, and Diaz, they may not be thinking so much about D. Gordon hurt and Robinson Cano
Listen, they're trying
hurt and suspended.
They haven't been to the postseason in a long time. They're not messing around, and you got to give them credit for that.
They won 116. But the one scout was telling me that it's about $12 million for the 2 that went to Seattle. So yeah, it's you know, and there was a lot of talk in the offseason with some of the players leaving the Rays, in particular the guy across the bay, Longoria, still had a lot left on his contract. And you know, surprising thing, as well as the Rays played against the Angels over the weekend, or played in that road trip. And of course, they'll be out here Monday through Thursday.
See the Mariners right now just 3.5 games back of the Astros. So Mariners 29 and 20. Yeah, talking about that money was interesting. So certainly there's some money taken on by the Seattle Mariners, but they also are not paying Robinson Cano during the suspension, and that's $11 million that they will save.
That's exactly
probably turns around and goes right to those 2 guys.
Yep.
But it's also not a trade that just for this year. Colomé is not a free agent till after 2020. So they're going to have him for a couple years. And Denard Span, Gordon moves to the infield. They need another outfielder. Span, a decent veteran outfielder still. So,
well, he adds depth, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing there, is he adds depth.
And you know, they might move Nicasio to 7th and have Colomé pitch the 8th. Because Colomé, it's be like the 8th closer, having a backup closer when necessary. You're right, Kite, because the $11 million, that's for 80 games. That's a half a season. And if they're paying the 12 for a full season, I mean, they're actually making money, because actually what has already been paid to those 2 guys in the first 2 months of the season.
So a very interesting trade on the 25th of May.
Why wait when you do it 2 months ahead of the trading deadline?
This one's hit in the air toward the left field line. Long run for Pinder. The runner Lamb was going, so he will head back to first. So that's the first out here in the 5th inning. And it'll be Gerard Dyson. I also think that, I mean, you could say, hey, let's go get a starting pitcher. I think a starting pitcher is going to be very tough to get on the 25th of May. Or, hey, we need a big bat. But I think you can get a reliever, even if it's a good one, maybe easier to get than a starting pitcher or a big bat, a difference-making bat.
Well, let's not forget, with the draft coming up, we have seen it before. You think about Joey Devine. That's a guy who was drafted and ended up in the postseason in the same season. So you can get bullpen help. It can be identified in the draft. Now, obviously not something that happens frequently, but it can be done.
Yeah, you get one of those college closers that's been doing it for 3 years, but that certainly does not happen a lot.
No.
0-1 to Gerard Dyson, who singled and scored in the fourth. Dyson, shallow left. Pinder hustling in. Pinder has it. So 2 away.
I always think that's the worst thing a speed guy can do is hit the ball in the air. Good
Gerard
for
Dyson
Pecan.
should try to bunt at least once a game. He already did it earlier.
Yeah.
Now batting, number 2, Jeff Mathis.
So here's Mathis, the 9th place hitter. All he has done tonight is walked, singled, and he has scored a pair of runs.
Yeah.
He came in hitting 170. First pitch is a fastball and a good one from Pagan. Sounded like Pagan. He came back from the minor leagues. Maybe figured a few things out, although he was not in the minor leagues very long, but
long enough.
Decided that, you know what, I need to use my fastball more because that's
right.
my best pitch.
Thank you.
Good idea.
What a shock.
He does have a pretty good fastball if he can locate.
Well, I always say there's a guy in the suite that will be recognized tomorrow. He's given his gift tonight by Dave Campbell as this check swing not called a strike. His name is Kenny Holtzman. He pitched a game in the playoffs against the Orioles. I want to say 110 pitches, 1 curveball. The rest fastball.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And I love. It's always great to see Kenny Holtzman because you'd love this guy. His philosophy: pitch an hour and a half, I'm out of here.
He is beautiful.
He was.
But the thing is it wasn't like he didn't care. He was really good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
20-game winner a few times. Yeah.
The fact that he could throw 1 curveball and still have plenty of success.
Just throw a fastball, take a little off, add a little, you know, but it was all fastballs. And
so he wasn't afraid to flip a BP fastball in there once in a while.
Nope. You know, if you said throw a changeup, in his mind to throw a changeup, he couldn't. But if you said take a 1.5 foot off, which is like a BP,
same thing.
He was great. And he went through a pretty good Baltimore Orioles team, like a rocket chair for them, just back and forth, back and forth. Never knew what he's going to throw. But you know, it's all the other pitches, and the fact it's a complete game. Or you know, you could go the distance with the 1 pitch. You don't have to worry about throwing a lot of waste pitches.
So I think it would be a great TV show to have a camera on Ken Holtzman as he sits and watches a major league game now.
Oh, he's not here now. He's gone. This game has already taken too long.
Living room.
Yeah, I know.
We'll get all of his thoughts about a ball game now. Good fastball, 94 miles an hour from Emilio Pagan. So he walks the leadoff hitter, nothing else. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Some work to do for the A's. about the A's 50 top memorable moments. It happened in Oakland. Now we want the fans to pick the most memorable moment in a season-long promotion tonight. It's Dallas Braden's perfect game in 2010 against Chris Davis's 3 home runs against Texas in 2016. Fans vote through our A's Twitter poll, play that wins. Advances to face the next memorable moment. So Dallas, you're on a little bit of a roll. I think I know it's 2, maybe 3 wins in a row.
Yeah, there you go.
We're not surprised.
No, I am.
It was a memorable moment.
I don't know that I've ever done that in my career.
It's hard to deny a perfect game, man. You know,
that's what I'm saying.
Just riding the wave, boys.
The A's need to ride a wave here. They got to get something going against a good left-hander in Corbin. He's allowed just 1 hit.
Unfortunately, what happens as a starting pitcher, especially on the other side, you get some run support, you start to settle into a groove, you start to settle into your game plan, and really you put the ball in the offense's court, sort of force the action on them. And that's exactly where we're at right now with Patrick Corbin getting comfy.
Now, jams Olsen, then he bangs it down off his foot, of course.
Not good. The dogs are barking just a little. Right off the top of the foot there. Just above the instep.
And a perfect example about why you go to spring training. Their first day of spring, that's the best you're going to feel the whole year. Because little things like that, I mean, while he stays back in there and somebody said, let's go, you're okay. Well, that's easy for you to say. Because he's going to feel that for a little while. He'll continue to play, but how about that?
Take a Han Solo homer here.
So 2-2 to Olsen. Lucroy will be next, and then Canna.
You know what I'd like to see, Kemp? I'd like to see one time a ball thrown in the dirt, the catcher catches it, throws it back to the pitcher.
Oh.
How many times you see so many balls from a catcher just rolled over to the side anytime it hits the dirt? The umpire, make him or the hitter say, give me a new ball.
Sure, I agree.
You know,
if they don't say it, keep it.
Exactly. I'll take a scuff.
That one is lined to center and a base hit.
Top 50 players and a couple here tonight represented the A's championships in the early 70s. Captain Sal Bando, there he is, talking to his good friend, the skipper Bob Melvin, and also Kenny Holtzman.
21.
And Sal Bando, the captain, so they received from Dave Cavill their jerseys plus their Tiffany gift, and they were not here for the presentation, but the skipper wearing number 6 because of the captain, Sal Bando.
Here's Lucroy. He's trying to string some hits together. The first pitch to Lucroy is in for a strike. Lucroy lined out to left in the second inning. 62 pitches for Patrick Corbin. So the pitch count's in decent shape for the Arizona left-hander. Corbin on the 17th of April against the Giants had a no-hitter for 7 2/3 innings.
Yeah.
He gave up a check swing grounder to the left side with the shift on to a left-handed hitter.
Yeah.
And it went for a hit.
Brandon
There was
Bell,
really no play, and it was a hit. And that's the only hit he allowed. That's how close he came to really what maybe should have been and very easily could have been a no-hitter. Owings hustling over to the line, and he makes the catch. It was a check swing, ground ball.
The interesting thing, someone had said that the shift will eventually cost somebody a no-hitter. Well, I mean, that because it was a check swing, Brandon Belt probably, excuse me, but able to beat it out.
But the only way that would be accurate is if the shift, when the shift was on, did not take away any balls that would have been hits, right?
Yeah.
More action, but a long run this time for Owings, and he's going to get there again. I mean, if the shift helped Patrick Corbin a couple times, well then you got to shake your hands and say thank you, shift.
Yeah, exactly. And really, it's all part of that give and take that has existed since the first pitch was thrown in baseball. As a pitcher, you blow a guy up, you break his bat, and it bleeds over the second baseman's head for a knock. And other times he hits it right on the screws, and you throw your glove up in self-defense, and hey, look what I got. So sometimes they land, and sometimes they don't.
But if you ask a hitter that, the hitter always says that they do not even out. Now, what does a pitcher say?
Yeah, no, they get lucky. I mean, as far as I was concerned, I never gave up a hit in my career. They got very lucky every time. That's the mentality of a pitcher.
Yeah. It's great when you say that to a hitter, though. Well, they kind of even out. Well, you know, not really. And they're dead serious, man.
Well, I talked to a hitter today, okay, to your point, analysis point, where I said about bunting. He said, well, I believe I can get a hit every time I go to the plate. You know,
I guess that's the way you got to be.
You have to be that way, and you're not going to hit 1,000. You're not going to go, you know, you're not going to get a hit every at bat.
And that one, a swing and a miss, bounces away. Mathis hustles after it. He throws, and that's a nice play by the catcher. He had a hustle. Barreto was speeding down the line, but Mathis made the play. (6-1). Diamondbacks lead the A's. It's the 6th inning. That would be the marine layer hanging out. It's going to warm up at some point. I know. Did I say that 2 weeks ago?
Well, the Diamondbacks are saying it's already over 100 in Phoenix, so they know what the heat's like.
Diamondbacks had an off day here in the Bay Area yesterday.
They wouldn't be doing that in Phoenix right now. Might have their sunglasses on, but no blanket.
They were coming from Milwaukee, so this is a 9-game road trip for them. Started in New York, went to Milwaukee, and now in Oakland. At least they're headed back home in the right direction.
Well, to our right, Tom Candiotti, formerly of the Athletics, as a knuckleball pitcher, now working on the Diamondbacks radio. Got a chance to spend a couple of days at home. He's in Concord. What he said, his son was St. Mary's College, so he's good for him. His mother's still over in Concord.
Yeah, he said he had a great day yesterday.
Yeah, great
driving
off day.
around.
Yeah.
2-1 the count to Peralta, the leadoff hitter. Peralta is 1 for 3, a single and a run scored in the 3rd. 6 runs and 8 hits for Arizona, 1 run on 2 hits for the Athletics. hit hard into right field, and that's a base hit. So make it 9 hits now for the D-backs. And with that, let's check in with Carl.
Hey guys, I'm hanging out in Mount Davis right now with Jeff Thomas. He's the show producer for Pyro Spectaculars. Those are the guys that are going to put on the post-game fireworks show. Thanks for joining me, Jeff.
Sure, no
Tell us what we're doing up here, first of all, what we see behind us.
Well, we've got some flame elements tonight that we're going to add in a couple of the songs tonight just to kind of give a little different flavor to the show. So we're really looking forward to that tonight.
Very cool. And as you all know, tonight is Star Wars themed. How do you build a show? Once you get the music, what's the first thing you do?
You just hand us the music, and then I sit down on my computer and just kind of get a feeling for each song and lay things out the way I feel will work nice and complement the music.
So like a big drum section, you might have some bigger pow.
Rumbles or some booms, you know, just, you kind of get a feeling, and maybe some heart shells during a love song or something. So,
Some happy faces in there at some point.
Got to get the happy faces in for sure.
How many shells tonight? Do you have the numbers for it?
I have the numbers handy. It's 15 minutes or 14, I think, minutes of intense fireworks.
That's awesome. Well, this is just the first of 7 fireworks shows all season long. Yeah. And if you've never seen one of these productions, they are pretty spectacular.
They are. They're great. And fans get to come out on the field. It's just a wonderful environment.
It sure is. So if you can't make it here tonight, we hope to see you later this summer for one of the next shows. Dinosaur themed, patriotic, of course, on July 3rd. So a lot to look forward to from this team of people. Thanks, Jeff.
Sure, no problem.
Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Carl. So they are way up in section 339, Mount Davis.
Well, that was perfect timing, because while all that was going on, Jed Lowry was being attended to by one of the trainers and skipper Bob Melvin.
Luke Croy's throw is not quite in time, and Peralta has a stolen base.
Well, the reason they were paying attention to Jed Lowry because of this. He tried to field the ground ball, then rolled his left hand under his body, diving, and just want to keep going with the left hand, but instead he rolled under and stayed on his knees until skipper came out with Jeff Collins.
What's that wrist? You see that wrist bend over. Turned himself into a human scorpion. The legs coming up over the back.
1-1 to Nick Ahmed. Big night for Ahmed. 2 for 3, a homer, a single, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored.
Well, you know, a team is eventually, especially if they're any good, they're going to end a losing streak. Yep. If the A's don't come back, that's one, but you cannot let it carry over to the next day or two.
Good fastball right on the outside corner, and Ahmed says, was that a strike? Jim Wolf says, yes, it was. Go sit down. So that's out number 1.
Here they go.
What's wrong with that?
That's heater outer third. There's really no conversation to have here. Ahmed clearly expecting sitting something else.
Well, maybe since he's 0-2, he's looking for a waste pitch that he didn't waste it. That's good umpiring, because last thing you want. What do you think about that? It's a strike. There's nothing wrong with that pitch. Maybe previous pitch or something, but not that one.
There's John Ryan Murphy. He had a 2-run double in the 3rd. In the dirt, blocked nicely by Lucroy. Diamondbacks actually went to the postseason last year. They were 93-69. They finished in 2nd place in the NL West, but they were the #1 wild card team. So they had a terrific season. They won the wild card game at home over the Rockies. Remember that game? Kind of a wild game.
That's right.
In Arizona, and then they went into the division series against the Dodgers, and they were swept in 3 games by LA. But a very productive season.
Yep.
And they're trying to build off that.
A lot of excitement in downtown Phoenix.
Yep. Diamondbacks have been to the postseason 6 times in their first 20 years. (2-0) to John Ryan Murphy. And now 3-0. Close pitch. Could have been called a strike. See a little movement now out in the A's bullpen. Could have been just a leg stretch.
Especially those who know they're not going to pitch tonight. Those are the ones who can stretch.
A little chilly. And that one not close. So here's Goldschmidt with 2 on and 1 on. Hey, stick with the team you've watched all season long. Tonight, to make that tomorrow, it's Game 6 at Oracle. Game 6 at Oracle. Coverage begins at 4:30 with a special edition of Warriors Outsiders. Then it's Warriors Playoff Central before and after the game. It all starts at NBC Sports Bay Area. That's Game 6 tomorrow night. Warriors Rockets. The Warriors have their backs up against the wall. You always say all these different scenarios. It's a must win. It's a must. Well, tomorrow's a must win.
Gotta have it.
I would say tomorrow's a must win. Rockets leading that series 3-2.
The Warriors, a little luck on their side. Chris Paul will not be active for Game 6. He's got that hamstring issue.
Goldschmidt pops it up. Mile in the air. Infield fly rule is called. So Goldschmidt is retired.
Well, I was thinking about Joe McCarthy last night when I was observing some of that game, just to see, make sure Joe was doing okay.
Joe McCarthy, our stage manager, big Warriors fan.
Yeah.
Likes to grade the referees. How'd they do last night, Joe? Lying. Don't say thumbs up, because you'd be lying. No, the Warriors, it was a good game last night. They came up a little short, but they'll be all right. Two on, 2 out for Owings.
That arena right downtown Houston.
It is.
See it from the hotel?
Yes, we can. It's a couple blocks from our hotel. That one spins Owings out of the way. So the A's tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and then the Warriors tomorrow night. So the Coliseum complex will be a busy place. Owings has hit a couple of fly balls to right field. He has grounded to short. Good swing there, fouls it back.
You know who probably is going to depart after tomorrow is that Harvey the Rabbit sign behind home plate.
I think so.
Because
unless there's another.
Harvey's been smiling a lot.
He's been there a long time.
He's been smiling, you know, the backpack tomorrow.
You know who's the happiest of all? Ross, dress for less.
Tomorrow, Harvey. Man, look at that smile. I mean,
he's throwing a little slider, it looks like.
Oh, Harvey the Rabbit's been smiling forever. Carr showed that backpack's going to be given away tomorrow.
And that is a strike at the knees. 1-2. Extended work for Pagan. 35 pitches now.
Well, after 5 of his buddies pitched yesterday out of the bullpen, it's one of those games that you want to get some innings and pitches. And the skipper said, "You give it to me tonight, I'll give you a couple of days off over the weekend." But you need to be a stopper, and so far Pagan has been that, if you can get through this inning.
Peralta at second, Murphy at first. Fastball fouled off by Owens.
I'm sure you've noticed at home, you can tell Pagan working methodically, taking his time.
One-two pitch. Blocked nicely by Lucroy.
mention it all the time, having to body up. You got more work to do. You got runners in scoring position. Everything you can to keep it in front. The confidence it instills in the pitcher being able to bury those pitches.
Grounded to short. Simeon charges, scoops, throws just in time. And that will do it for the Diamondbacks. They get a couple of base runners, but do not score. 6-1 Arizona. As we like to say, that's good effort. As we also like to say, you don't want to sit behind that person. Dallas, what are you seeing from Patrick Corbin? Just what we expected. He's got 4 strikeouts. He's got 1 walk and got a pretty good control of the pitch count.
Well, that's the thing, is he's commanded the baseball, and you see here first pitch Simeon breaking ball. We're going to start to see him go soft this next time through. First pitch, in my estimation. And really, guys, it's just about command. I feel like at times we sound like we beat a dead horse, but the importance of being able to command the baseball in the zone is paramount.
There's Owings running hard, and Owings got a glove on it and went into a slide. He just could not quite hold on to it.
Well, if it goes into a slide, goes into a dive, it's foul territory. It doesn't matter. Slide, trying to keep the eyes on the ball. A little bit difficult once you leave your feet, but he was watching the ball. He just, as the ball came down, kept his eyes up. The ball went down and just missed it. But great effort, long run. Slide kind of to stop himself, and maybe because it was sinking so quickly, that's the best he could do to try to slide and catch it.
And there is the Corbin hard slider, and he gets his 5th strikeout.
Fans, we talked about the Boom SMS campaign. You can enjoy early July the 4th with the A's for the July 3rd Patriotic Fireworks Show. It's presented by Chevrolet. You can now win a free suite to the game. That's right, free suite for you and 11 of your closest friends. Simply text BOOM, B-O-O-M, to 60946. The contest will last through June the 18th. Message and date. Rates do apply. Again, simply text BOOM to 60946. See complete rules at athletics.com.
That suite's having a good time. So every time you show a suite, the people that are in the suite are always having a good time. I don't know. They're just like the kids are having a good time. Everybody's
Thumbs up.
smiling. It's good.
They're all here for the fireworks.
That's true.
You know, get a suite, don't have to leave. can see it right there. You can see the TV back there. You can watch. They can see themselves on TV. That's why they hit the thumbs up.
Suites are good when the kids are that age, because they can just run around in the suite. You don't have to chase them around. Now shut the door. Make sure they don't get out into the concourse. You just make friends with the people in the suite next to you. There you go. You guys having a good time?
They see themselves.
Having a good time? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, gee, I see myself. I'm not even on Diamond Vision. Or Jumbotron or A's Vision.
Yeah, that is right there. Strike 3 called. Back-to-back strikeouts for Corbin here in the 6th.
And the steady mix of fastballs and breaking balls anytime in the count is what we're seeing right now. Fearless on the inside part of the plate, 89 miles an hour. Not going to overpower you, but he will beat you to a spot. And right now, Patrick Corbin just seems to be one page ahead in the storybook tonight.
He faces Lowry. He pumps a fastball in their first strike, but you watch Corbin, he's not throwing that hard. He's 88, 89, 90.
Doesn't have to.
Well, right, and you see the 88-mile-an-hour fastball there. If you watch Jed Lowry, the way he took that pitch looking out over the plate, there's a good chance they spin this one here.
And Lowry does a pretty good job. That was a decent pitch right on the outside corner, but Lowry, kind of year he's having, he drops it into center field for a base hit, so he has his first hit.
Well, he's looking for it. He's looking for that pitch out over the heart of the plate. You see there the very rare changeup from Patrick Corbin to Jed Lowry, who was looking soft early in that bat. Again, if you go back and watch the way he took that first pitch, looking out over the plate, got his changeup and executes. One of the smartest hitters in the game to date, Jed Lowry.
Well, the good news also, the wrist obviously is okay, because it was scary watching him land his body, curling his wrist under his body, but it did not seem to affect him on that swing.
So here's Chapman. Fly ball to right and a pop out to short.
And as I said, started off with that soft breaking ball, pitch 1, strike 1. Back in hard.
One pitches now for Corbin. Corbin had Tommy John surgery back in 2014. It was the year after he was an all-star.
That's a good time to have it. 3 years before free agency.
That's right. Get that out of the way.
That's right. Don't want any lingering effects of that. You know, we kid about New York because he's from the area, but you think about a left-hander pitching in New York. The short left field porch, and you're facing a lot of righties. That is advantageous, because I've seen a lot of lefties pitch at Yankee Stadium and just pitch the righties away, let them try to hit it hard to left field of the seats. You know, guys like Stanton and Judge go the opposite way. They don't think so much about pulling everything because they're so strong. That was strong, Matt Williams. He and Bob Melvin, of course, talking a lot with the Arizona Diamondbacks. That was their home for a while. The skipper, Matt Williams, with him there. Now they're happy in the green and gold here.
Runner goes, 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. So 3 strikeouts and a single allowed by Patrick Corbin. And we are moving to the 7th from the Coliseum. September 24th, 1999, Matt Williams fields the final out of an 11-3 victory in San Francisco that clinches the National League West title for the Diamondbacks. Arizona becomes the first expansion team to reach the playoffs or win a division title in its second year of competition. There's Matty, Randy Johnson on the hill, and that did it right there. Second season, or second year as a franchise, the Diamondbacks in 1999 won 100 games, 162, and won the division in year 2. So he was with Arizona from 1998 to 2003. So he's got a World Series ring, obviously. But his season of 1999 may have been his best all-around season that he ever had. And remember, he hit 43 home runs one year.
That's right.
But
well, what year, guys, was it when he was on an absolute
94?
94. Thank you,
yeah,
Foss.
it was the strike.
I mean,
yeah. Strike, yeah. He had a shot.
Tony Gwynn might have hit 400.
Yeah.
It's Gwynn and Matt Williams. Matt Williams close to 60 and on pace anyway. And Tony Gwynn 400 and the strike into the season, the World Series. And here we are talking about it still all these years later because nobody can believe it. Because we were just in Toronto, Kai, talking about the Blue Jays and the Expos. Expos, it could have been an all-Canada World Series, but Montreal said, that's it, we're done.
1-1 the count to Jake Lamb with Danny Coulombe, the new pitcher. And the count now 1-2 when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair expert. So Coulombe on for the 19th time this year. 1-1, 4.86 ERA. But yes, so Matt Williams in that season, Ray, 303, 35 home runs, 142 RBIs, and 37 doubles. That's a pretty good year.
That's right.
And there's a base hit to left field. So Lamb, 2 for 2 with 2 walks.
See the guy who was pitching that game?
Big unit.
Big unit.
Well, lefty-lefty matchup for here. Lamb does a good job of staying back, keeping himself centered in the middle of the stance. Shoots this right over that 5.5/6 hole made so famous by Tony Gwynn.
So that is hit number 10, and here's Ketel Marte. So you think about all these teams that have waited so long to win a World Series,
right.
or some teams that have never won a World Series, right? So the Diamondbacks win the World Series in their 4th year of existence.
Yeah.
And I know that there was organizations that were like, really? Seriously? We haven't even won one, or we haven't won one in 50 years, and they do it in year 4.
Well, think about the Florida Marlins.
It was the same for the Marlins. What was it? It was year 5, I think, for the Marlins, right?
It's fast, yeah.
Because they came in existence in 93 and they won in 97.
97, yeah, 96, 97. Josh Beckett, Edgar Renteria.
Yeah.
The D train, Dontrell Willis.
Well, and then the big Cubs and Marlins with the play down the left field line and Moises Alou.
That's right.
That was a few years later.
Pryor on the mound.
Yeah, that was Pudge Rodriguez.
But the Diamondbacks, after their first year, and Matt Williams was on that first team in 1998. But they went out and got some guys starting in 99.
That's what you do,
including Randy Johnson. And then things kind of all came together. Schilling came.
Yeah, Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling, one of the best postseason arms in the history.
Simeon has it. See if the A's can turn 2, and they do. They get a speedy Ketel Marte on the double play.
Well, here it is, and Gonzalez, a base hit with a drawn-in infield, and they're the world champions.
There's Bob Melvin. See Bob Melvin?
Yeah, Melvin, Brindley, they're all coming out. Nobody could believe that.
And you know what? I was happy for you because that would have given the Yankees 4 consecutive World Series, and we want We want people to remember that. Okay, the Yankees won 3 in a row like the A's did, but they didn't win 4 in a row. But I remember watching that game and thinking, there's no way.
I agree.
Diamondbacks are, I mean, Rivera's in. It was a great game. It was a terrific game 7. There was a couple big hits in that game. I want to say Tony Womack had a big hit. Remember Tony Womack?
Yeah, that's right. Down the left right field line.
Mark Grace.
Greg Counsell played on the team, or that was the Marlins team. But the one thing with Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson, that was a pretty good duo. coming out of the pen, or one starting coming out of the bullpen. I mean, you get to that point, forget it. I mean, you can rest when the season's over, which could be today, tomorrow. But, you know, I saw something, and I'll never forget in that series. I saw Joe Torre, who managed the Yankees. Of course, that was, unfortunately, the 9/11 season. And the Yankees came back and won 2 with Tino Martinez, Scott Brocious, big walk-off, further close home runs. But Joe Torre cheered as a manager. I've never seen that. He's usually very stoic. He cheered, and then they came back and lost.
And a good pitch by Coulombe, and he has a good inning, gets the double play, and then a strikeout of Dyson. 7th inning stretch time from the Coliseum, 6-1 Arizona.
Paints. Go where the pros go. Kelly Moore, the Painter's Paint Store.
Some of the goodies at Shibe Park Tavern. They got some great stuff there. Eddie Plank jersey from 1914.
You see that glove?
3 fingers.
And those gloves usually were used and dropped on the field when they went into hit, so the guys coming out play defense could use the same glove. That's old school. Now they have throwaways, you know, they're just
up the middle. Marte was playing over that way on one pitch. Piscotty is out. So out number 1, the A's just have not been able to get anything going against Corbin. In fact, they only have 3 hits. They have not had more than 1 hit in any inning, obviously.
From the A's yesterday, look what they did not do following the first inning. They got a hit, 1 hit in the 4th inning after 4 in the 1st. That's it. So after scoring 4 against Felix yesterday, they've really done nothing. And the home run tonight by Canna was the first on his homestand after hitting the 19 on the road trip.
A home run at home, huh?
A home run at home, very rare.
1-1 the count to Olsen, who has walked and singled, so he's had a couple of good at-bats against Corbin. And he's the only lefty in the lineup, but he rips this one into the right field corner. Big Matt Olsen hits the bag at first, digging for second, and he's got himself a 1-out double.
Patrick Corbin sent that ball back up the middle here. He gets that heater running in, does a great job of pulling the hands through. We talk about guys thinking they can beat Olsen inside with the way he has his hands extended out over the plate. Not the case. Very quick to the inside part of the plate is Ole. He's able to cover that, as Corbin found out.
So Mike Butcher, the pitching coach for the Diamondbacks, is out there as we start to get some action out in the bullpen for the first time. Andrew Chafin, the left-hander. Diamondbacks have 3 left-handers and 4 right-handers in their bullpen, so they're going with, I guess we could say, a traditional 7-man bullpen, which you don't see very often anymore.
Exactly. Well, and as a result, they can carry 3 catchers because they have the extra room or the extra body to use on the position side. And Murphy, who is the DH, is a catcher. Saw him with the Yankees. So tonight, Mathis starts. And Murphy, the DH, and Murphy's had a good night.
First pitch to Lucroy.
Do you know what? I'm not surprised about Matt Olson, because we've seen often where a lefty faces predominantly right-handed lineup. Look at Gonzalez with the Mariners, how much he did, face the Athletics, and Gossett pitched well, but predominantly right-handed hitting lineup. And I think it's difficult for a lefty to face a left-handed hitter because they don't see as many. Tonight, Matt Olson pulled the hands in on 2 pitches, the curveball up the middle and the fastball that he just got to shoot to right field.
1-1 the count to Lucroy. We have not been crazy about that last call. It was outside the call to strike. Lucroy is lined out and hit a fly ball to right field. So that was pitch number 92 for Patrick Corbin. He's got to 100 pitches twice in his first 10 starts. He's generally been in the 90s in all the other starts. Pitch is bounced to short. Ahmed has it. And Ahmed throws out Lucroy. 2 outs with Olson going over to third. And that'll bring up Canna.
Oh, there's a song. Now Marquette, as we showed earlier, the home run, a rare home run at home. The A's 19 on the 10-game road trip, the first of this homestand so far, none against the Mariners. And Corbin at that point, like a good game for the Athletics, but Mark Canna, the off-speed pitch, slider that didn't really slide, not down and in where Corbin wanted it. Mark Canna took advantage of it. No masks tonight, by the way.
Nope, that's right.
It's a maskless night. Hit a home run in Seattle off Edwin Diaz and put his hand over his face like he was wearing a mask, which he wasn't.
2-0 now to Canna. Canna trying to get Olson home. Casilla warming up in the A's bullpen. Good take there, and it's 3-0. How about that?
Huh. And they've got them all labeled there. Fastball, curveball, changeup, split. You can see there they've got these iPads up and labeled by pitch selection. So if you want to go in there and get a quick look at what they're offering, there you go. Fastball, curveball. He's in our way. Changeup, split, lefties, righties, whatever you need. Right there, you got a smorgasbord of information.
And put a sign up there that says TMI.
So
Too much.
You didn't have those in the Indians dugout in the 70s?
What? Had the iPad had it even been invented?
If they paid for Pine Tar, right?
I was going to say, they didn't have the statisticians sending you guys Morse code to...
All I know is the great Cy Bannock had this thing with a bunch of erasers, and they throw those baseballs in there. We always thought we had pearls.
Sure.
And they weren't. They were soft mush because...
Dyson on the move, and Dyson using that great speed. Tracks it down. A. Strand Olsen, and we're moving to the 8th.
Side by that.
Hats off for heroes. Ray Lamano, he was born right here in Oakland, served in the U.S. Navy in World War II, played with the Cincinnati Reds from 1941 to 42, and then 46 to 48. In fact, he was an all-star in 1946, and he caught Blue Blackwell's no-hitter on June 18th, 1947. That was Ray Lamano, born right here in Oakland. Santiago Casilla comes into the game, and his first pitch is hit very high to left field where Pinder has it. So Jeff Mathis is retired. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. The numbers for Casilla: no record, 3.43 ERA. He faces top of the order David Peralta. Astros won tonight 11-2 in Cleveland. The Indians were leading 2-0 going to the top of the 8th inning. Astros scored 4 in the 8th. They scored 7 in the 9th. How about that? Astros have won 8 out of their last 9. Angels lost. Yankees 2, Angels 1. Trout homered for the Angels, the only run for them, and the Yankees got another home run from Gleyber Torres. He has 9.
He is on fire.
Yeah, he's got that look, doesn't he? Looks like a swing, and it is 1-2. And the Mariners leading the Twins 2-1 in the 7th inning up in Seattle. Rangers beat the Royals 8-4 in Texas. Chu, Mazzara, and Guzman homered for the Rangers. Moustakas and Soler homered for the Royals. Red Sox beat the Braves 6-2. Betts homered. Martinez homered. Hanley Ramirez DFA'd. How about that? Hanley Ramirez was designated for assignment today by the Boston Red Sox. Did that catch either of you gentlemen by surprise?
Yeah, caught me by surprise because we saw him. He's hitting the ball pretty well. I mean, he's having a pretty good year, but they don't have to worry about his option for next year.
That was in play. There's no question that was in play. Dallas, what do you think?
If I'm being totally honest,
yes,
I don't know that I was necessarily surprised. I think you could sort of anticipate movement coming in some form or fashion. They've got some guys on that roster that they just don't know what to do with. Blake Swihart is one of the guys I think about when you think guys that have been blocked at numerous different positions and where they can go, and you obviously have to factor in the vesting option. I believe not 19 or 22 million dollars, one of the two.
22.
If he receives 474 at bats, I believe it was.
Plate appearances.
Casilla picks it up, throws.
Yes, Foster, you're right. Plate appearances, and he was already in the name. 230, I believe. So
yeah, he was well on his way.
Oh, it was coming.
Yeah,
it was happening.
And the reason they needed to do it, Dustin Pedroia came off the disabled list,
Correct.
so that was the guy coming on. But it was almost one of those things where when you read it, you were like, "Whoa, really?" But then when you sort of thought about all the different factors, kind of made a little bit more sense. So.
Yeah, and you also have to think about the lack of versatility for Hanley Ramirez.
Yeah.
He, in essence, is a 1.5 trick pony. He can DH, and maybe you can hide him over at first base.
Tried him in left.
They tried him in left, and that's where the shoulder injury came from.
Yeah.
And
he had a very good month of April. He did not have, or was not having, a good month of May. So it may be a situation where Swihart, if he gets to play a little more, and you get Pedroia back, maybe your roster is better without Hanley Ramirez.
Well, and the thing about Swihart that Dallas talked about, I agree, because he was an outstanding catcher, but he got kind of pushed out of there.
Right.
But when Wellington Castillo had the suspension, there was rumors that maybe the White Sox would try to get him just to get a chance to play. But they got Dustin Garneau from the A's, and so he is there, at least acquired by the White Sox. But Swihart's a good player. Can play multiple positions. He's a very good catcher when he first came up. Played against the A's here. Very impressed with him.
And what's interesting is to see how this transaction over the course of the next week, or maybe even few weeks, kind of plays out, because there was conversation that Dave Dombrowski had mentioned that this wasn't necessarily a front office move solely. There was some managerial opinion factored into the decision-making process.
But maybe that's where it's a better roster without him comes into play.
Right.
Alex Cora may be saying, hey, you know what? I like Swihart, right? And listen, we're not saying Blake Swihart's Ted Williams, but we can do a lot of things with this guy. But it's a big name that got moved. So they're going to come check on Santiago Casilla.
I guess the other trainers got worn out. Brian Shulman's not coming out. So, this third trip to the field for the trainers tonight. And the skipper.
If we see anything on the last pitch he threw.
Well, you remember that fastball that sailed up and out?
Yeah.
And he has gone to the breaking ball, gone to the breaking ball, gone to the breaking ball continually. You can see him shake his elbow a little.
He's coming out. So Casilla with a 3-1 count and 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning is coming out. So we'll see who the A's get up in the bullpen. We'll be back.
NBC Sports California is brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
Everybody having a good time in the treehouse. Diamondbacks leading the A's 6-1, top of the 8th inning.
Number 38, Nick Ahmed.
So Ryan Dull is the new pitcher. The count here is 3-1. And the hitter is Nick Ahmed. So Dull inherits the 3-1 count. And that's low. So Casilla gets that walk. That's 5 walks tonight by A's pitchers.
Now batting, number 36, John Ryan Murphy.
There's John Ryan Murphy for his 5th at bat. Strikeout, 2-run double, fly out to center field, and a walk for Murphy, who is the designated hitter. First pitch outside. So if we hear anything on Santiago Casilla, we will certainly pass it on. We did see him shake his arm a couple times.
Yeah, that's not good because it's usually an elbow issue or shoulder, something from the arm standpoint. Never like to see that with anybody, especially a pitcher.
There's a strike. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, what was scary was the fastball that he shot up out of the zone. You think about feeling your fingers, maybe the inability to feel the baseball.
Outside, and now it's 2-1. You do see that occasionally where a little shot to the nerve or something where you don't feel it. Do you ever have that, Dallas?
Knock on wood, luckily I wasn't somebody who did a ton of spin in the baseball, so I never really encountered major elbow issues. Had some tightening here and there, still, nothing I couldn't throw through.
Fouled at the plate. 2-2 the count. Still having a ball. Get ready for the fireworks.
It's rare when somebody doesn't have a cell phone.
Oh my gosh. Skied to left. Pinder waiting. Pinder has it, and that will do it for the Diamondbacks. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Athletics got some things to do, trailing 6-1.
You by Toyota. Designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota. Let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Xfinity. X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by SoFi, a modern finance company.
Here's our game summary tonight, brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. 6-10-0 for the Diamondbacks, 1-4-1 for the Athletics. Patrick Corbin was very good. 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, 99 pitches. The A's got just 4 hits off him. Sean Manaea struggled, gave up 8 hits and 6 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. The only run for the A's was in the 3rd inning. It was Mark Canha's solo home run. So Corbin is out after his fine 7 innings of work. And to the bullpen, it's Yoshihisa Hirano, 34-year-old from Japan. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. 2-0 with a 2.11 ERA, so good numbers for Hirano. Matt Joyce pinch hitting for Barreto, and Peralta has it. So Joyce is retired, 1 out here in the 8th. So Barreto had a couple of at-bats tonight. He struck out both times.
Not a lot of pitches either, and unfortunately Barreto, what we've seen when he's been in the big leagues, seems to have better spring trainings than the big leagues, because when he gets up here he swings at pretty much everything.
Yep.
And that has not been good.
First pitch to Marcus Semien is a little outside. Semien is 0 for 3. Pop-up foul. 11 years in Japan for Hirano, and then decided to come over here, and he got a 2-year contract signed with the Diamondbacks. Was a closer in Japan, 156 career saves. And as most Japanese pitchers we've seen, they have a splitter, and it looks like he's got one as well.
He's 90, 93, 82 to 84 on the split, a 2-trick pony. It's a flip of the coin.
A little bit outside. No, that's a strike. 2-2 the count.
There's the split.
You know you're going to get it.
Oh yeah, especially with 2 strikes on the hitter.
So full count with Pinder waiting to hit next. And that one is high, walking. So 1 out base runner. Hey, this month on All A's, Brody sits down with A's longest tenured employee. There he is, Steve Vucinich. The great Steve Vucinich. Here, Vucinich. Dish on the 50 years of the Athletics, including clubhouse scuffles. Which Hall of Famer helped him get the job, and what pop star used to call Jose Canseco on the clubhouse phone? Madonna. The newest edition of All A's premieres tonight, immediately following A's post-game live right here on NBC Sports California.
You notice that last picture? Brody all smiles. Vuce going, give me a break. Vuce is that, you know, that, what it's.
Yeah, come up with a new question, Brody. Answered them all. It's Madonna.
You see the picture with Joe D and the Vuce when he's about 14.
A little flare, that'll work. Pinder says, I'll take it.
Take it, he will. Fights off the heater. Up and in on the hands. Get off me, ball. You see Chad Pinder there, strong enough to fight this thing over. And Kettle Marte, a little bit of deke there. Trying to deke Semien over at first base, slowed him up just enough. Probably not an opportunity or a need to go first to third there.
So, see if the A's can get something going. Lowry steps up. He's 1 for 3.
2 3-run home runs. The A's are
there. You go.
Got the lead.
That's right.
So why not? They seem to always be a late game ball club, never giving up, so let's keep it going. Get the starter out. Corbin was good.
First pitch is in for a strike. Runners in scoring position, 333 this year. Check swing, fouls it right back toward Matt Chapman in the on-deck circle. So 0-2. Can't hurt Captain America. Is that legal when the game's going on?
Don't think so.
I don't think so either. Simeon at second, Pinder at first. And here is the 0-2 pitch. Lowry's able to lay off that splitter.
I'd say it's a pretty good idea. If the pitcher throws 2 4-seam fastball and a splitter, gets a couple of strikes, I think he's going to go to the splitter. And he did.
Well, you can see his attack plan: elevate up in the zone with the heater, get their eye level adjusted, and then he wants to drop that split down and out of the zone. Start it low, let it expand.
And tried it again, and Lowry fouled it back.
One of his biggest differences, knuckleball pitcher next to us and Tom Candiotti. That ball went everywhere, but at least with the splitter, when it's effective, it will go straight down. From a catcher standpoint, it's not a bad pitch or a hard pitch to block. There is the candy man, Tom Candiotti, with the Athletics, and went to Cleveland. And of course, now broadcasting for the Diamondbacks. Greg Schulte, longtime broadcaster, missing this road trip. He knew Candyman wasn't going to miss Dunkirk in the Bay Area.
So 2-2. The crowd tonight, 22,691, and they're starting to make some noise, trying to get something going here for the Athletics. Corbin was very good for 7 innings. One's grounded to first. Goldschmidt is going to take the safe out. So he steps on the bag, and that is the second out. He thought about maybe going to second, but let's say, probably said, let's get the sure thing at first.
Well, a multi-gold glove winner, so again, maybe struggling at the plate, but in the time when you could have a guy DH, and we'll see what happens over the weekend, what Torey Lovullo decides to do, but you got a gold glove first baseman. You usually want to keep him there defensively. And in the case of Goldschmidt, it might be something that helps him to play defense and take his mind off his hitting. He's in the National League. Playing in National League Park, you're going to have to play to be able to hit.
First pitch to Chapman is lined down the left field line. Foul.
That's a problem with the hanging splitter.
So tomorrow it'll be a day game. Our coverage starts at 12:30 with A's pregame live. Clay Buchholz and Daniel Migden. So Buchholz has bopped around a little bit the last couple of years, and he is now with the Diamondbacks. So he'll be making his second start, and Daniel Migden's been pitching great. One to Chapman, who is 0 for 3. Fastball is high. Chapman with a fly ball to right, a pop to short, and a strikeout.
And a base hit right here would be huge because it would play a couple of runners for the Athletics. Make it a 6-3 game unless Chappie's able to take it deep and score himself.
Right on the outside corner. Jim Wolf liked it. Home plate umpire, 1-2.
This is an excellent pitch here, located low and away, right on the black. See, Mathis excited about the execution. Tough pitch for Chapman to handle.
A's need a hit from Chapman. It's a high fastball, and he got it, and Chapman just got a piece of it. You see Mathis trying to catch it.
It's like Maldonado of the Angels. High target, high fastball off his glove, pops out, and it's kind of tough when your body goes back and your glove goes forward. But Mathis, a good effort as he's kind of snapped at it, maybe trying to hit it up in the air and catch it again.
Goldschmidt hustling over, and he cannot quite get it. Good hustle by Paul Goldschmidt.
Notice in this at bat, first pitch, hanging splitter that was crushed foul. Fastballs ever since.
Yep.
It's almost like he's going against what he normally would do, and Mathis does a good job of blocking balls in the dirt, which would take away any possibility of the pitcher having concern about throwing a splitter in the dirt, allowing a run to score. But I think he's just kind of going against the grain. And Chapman trying to wait as long as possible in the event there is a splitter throw.
So another 1-2. Here it is. And he stayed with that splitter that time, and he gets Chapman swinging. A strand of pair through 8 innings at the Coliseum. 6-1 Arizona. So the A's trailing 6-1. 9th inning. Ryan Dell back to work as he faces Goldschmidt, Owings, and Lamb. Mariners still leading the Twins 2-1. That game is in the top of the 9th inning as the Mariners have gone to their closer Diaz. Quick 0-2 to Goldschmidt, who's 1 for 4, had a triple and knocked in 2 runs in the 4th inning. That was the ball Pinder dove for and could not come up with it. It rolled all the way to the wall. Goldschmidt, who's a big guy, but he runs extremely well.
Yeah, you described it perfectly because he did run well.
Yeah. 1-2 the count. Goldschmidt is 6'3", 225 pounds.
He's got one of those team-friendly contracts, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
he's coming to the end.
Off. Yeah.
But yes, it is. And he drives that one to left center field. So it'll go to the wall. Goldschmidt will have a double, so he's got a double and a triple.
Time now for the Chrysler drive of the game, and this ball with a lot of topspin on it that Chad Pinder tried to make the play. And he came in off his trail to the right of him, spun around, the ball going to the wall. A couple of runs scored. Goldschmidt was stopped at third. But I would think the Diamondbacks have to be extremely happy seeing a 2-run triple in this double to left center.
Yeah, their offense revolves around that guy.
That's right.
Even if a single hitter can only come to the plate 4, maybe 5 times, but he's pretty important. Takes a lot of pressure off everybody else.
You know, speaking of his contract, I thought when Salvador Perez had his contract torn up and redone, and you know, it was a team-friendly contract. But I was thinking of Goldschmidt, Baumgartner, guys like that who had similar contracts, and would that set a precedent? But he, like Baumgartner said, I'm not worried about it. 29 will be a free agent. Goldschmidt's going to be a free agent young. And that will make up for what they've done.
Pop-up foul. Goldschmidt is in the final year of a 5-year, $32 million contract that he got going into the 2014 season. So the numbers certainly is team friendly for the kind of player he is. There is a club option for next year for $14.5 million.
It's not done yet.
So he'll have one more year.
I'll tell you something to think about, though, is the way that free agency went this past offseason.
Yeah.
And regardless of your production on the mound, at the plate, times they are a changing.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's going to be interesting through the finish or the termination of this CBA, how things start to shape up in the future for free agency, compensation, production alike. It's going to be a mix and match of who gets what and why, and it's going to be very interesting to see how compensation plays out in the future.
Yeah, Goldschmidt will be 31 in September. And that one is hit well to center. Canna's back. Canna reaching for the wall, and he's got just enough room. Goldschmidt tags up, and he'll go to third.
I would not take a chance with that one tomorrow or Sunday. But Owings, while it was not a ground ball to the right side, still deep enough, a high fastball, and I tell you, that's flirting with danger even on a cool night when the ball's not carrying well. It takes Mark Canna all the way to the warning track. But, you know, I was thinking about the free agency, and 2 names come to mind. Machado and Harper. And if it remains the same, I mean, if those guys get their money, then it might kind of revert to what it had been. But I don't know if they're going to get the money that they think, or maybe at least Harper has thought about.
Lowry handles it, and the throw to first in time with Goldschmidt staying at third base. I agree with you, Ray. And you and I may be in the minority on this.
Number 4.
I don't know if Harper is going to get $400 million. No.
I'm
not saying shouldn't, worth it, not worth it. It's hard to convince me that it's good for an organization to pay one player $400 million.
Well, you think about it, it'd be a 10-year deal, $40 million a year. I mean, seriously, that's a huge chunk of a payroll.
And somebody may do it.
Yeah. But it's.
But I think to extend on Dallas's point, and I think it's a good one, it used to be, really up until this last year, if you put up good numbers, your production was good, you were going to get paid.
Well,
now you're not quite sure.
And you're not being paid on what you've done in the past. It's what can you do for them in the future.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Moustakas, Dallas hit 34 home runs last year, and he didn't have a job.
Yeah.
Well, this is where the market has corrected itself, and baseball and front offices alike are no longer interested in paying guys for what they did.
Yeah.
You want to pay a 30-year-old free agent for what he did between the ages of 26 and 30? They're thinking that just doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
We'd like to pay this guy for what he could do for the next 4 years, not what he did 4 years prior.
Yep, I think that's the right way to look at it. Is Marte shoots one into left center field, and that's going to be another run, and Marte is going to round second. He's going to try for third, and he is going to make it. Ketel Marte showing off his speed, and he has an RBI triple, and now it's 7-1.
But I don't know if it was intentional. That was a high fastball, and Ryan Dull coming into this last inning, look at the location of this pitch. Marte just got on top of it, and the location was not supposed to be there, but the result was a speed going into the gap in left center, and Marte showed his speed. That triple was all on him, and he got it easily.
Yeah, that's his 4th triple of the year.
See, the right hand kind of came up, so he got the bag with the palm of his hand instead of the fingers.
And Marte's 11th RBI.
Nice angle into the infield side of the bag. Took a knee to the nugget. See Chappie's paw there on the neck, making sure everybody's okay after the play.
Inside 2-0 to Gerard Dyson. He's 1 for 4 with a single and a run scored. So 12 hits now for Arizona. Dyson choking up a whole bunch on the bat. And that's a strike. Well, the Diamondbacks coming into tonight, 2nd lowest scoring team in the National League.
Can we change that for tomorrow?
Yeah, I'd like to. They've had a pretty good offensive night tonight. Lowry scoops, knows he's got to hurry, and he does, and they get the speedy Dyson. A run on 2 hits for the Diamondbacks. 7-1 as we go to the bottom of the 9th.
California Ford dealers, Patrick Corbin started in the sunlight, a 6:35 start, and he was good. Maybe not as good as sometimes, but had a good slider to the back foot. Good sticky fastball inside. There's a good slider. So a good outing by Patrick Corbin. 99 pitches, 7 innings. So looking for win number 5. A's again, not a lot of hits.
And the Diamondbacks looking to break a 7-game losing streak. So Andrew Chafin comes in, the lefty. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. So Chafin, he gets used a lot. This is his 25th appearance. Game number 50 for Arizona. New second baseman is Devin Marrero. So he comes in for Marte, who banged into Matt Chapman pretty hard. So it'll be Piscotty, Olsen, and Lucroy. Stephen Piscotty has grounded out 3 times, once to short, twice to second. Chafin appeared in 71 games last year. 66 games in 2015.
Diamondbacks media guide might be the thinnest in all of baseball.
You know what? You're absolutely right. And their style is different.
Very different.
Style meaning how they write up their notes.
Content,
it's kind of interesting. I kind of like it.
Doesn't really show a lot of the past. Just kind of. I mean, it doesn't go through every year that they played in the big league.
That one is hit to center, and it's hit well. Dyson's back, and Dyson stops on the warning track and makes the catch. It almost looked like that's what the ball did.
Coliseum, exactly. It's called Coliseum baseball.
Well, I'll tell you right now why Jerron Dyson is laughing is because he's thinking the same exact thing off the bat. Down here where I'm sitting, you hear the collective, ooh, as soon as it came off the bat and made the noise we just heard there, and then boom, it just hits a sheet and stops. So I'll take that marine layer, thank you.
So one out, and here's Olsen, who's had by far the best night. Anybody in the A's lineup, a walk, a single, and a double. And a good swing there against Chafin.
Most consistent defender in Coliseum history, the marine layer.
That's right. That's right. They were a big hurt. Frank Thomas joined the club. First shot, he started kind of like it, and the ball hit the wall in left field.
First week of April.
Yeah. And he gets to second base and looks at the dugout guys are laughing at him. Frank, you played here enough to know that. But he made more than made up for it afterwards. But that was a shock to him and not to anybody watching.
No, Frank was the only one that was caught off guard. We were like, yeah, well, we didn't think that was going out either.
No. It's amazing. Of course, the marine layer, even yesterday's day game, kind of stayed on board all day.
So Olsen waved at that pitch, and that's the second out here in the 9th inning.
And that's what you should do to lefties. And that's throw the hard slider, and he did. And Matt Olsen had a couple hits against Corbin. The curveball and the fastball, but this slider, you flail that. Not much of a chance at it.
So it's up to Jonathan Lucroy. And the first pitch is inside. Just a quiet night tonight. And we knew all about Patrick Corbin, that he's a pretty good pitcher. But an off night for Sean Manaea.
That's probably the biggest thing. Yep, biggest shock. Because when he takes the mound and Mington tomorrow, got a nice little rotation going with guys, especially after 5 relievers yesterday ended up playing in the game or pitching in the game. A lot of success.
Get back to some normalcy with the rotation.
Yeah, you know, the thing too, you're playing a series, you want to win the first game, and unfortunately against the Mariners that didn't happen. On the road trip, the A's had decent success in the first game of the series. Beat Sonny Gray on the Friday night in New York. They won the first 2 against the Red Sox. Of course, swept the Blue Jays. But the old home baseball once again.
Yep,
it's been a tough road for them.
12 and
a tough homie for them.
Tough home.
road has been good.
A home roadie.
That's right.
And that'll do it. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. So Chafin comes in, has a 3-up, 3-down 9th inning, and just a quiet night all around. As the Arizona Diamondbacks, they can smile because they have broken a 7-game losing streak. So Corbin gets the win. He's 5-1. Manaea takes the loss. He is 5-5. Time of game was 3 hours and 2 minutes. Attendance 22,691. Final score tonight: the Diamondbacks beat the Athletics 7-1. Time now for A's post-game live. Here is Brody Brazil.